This is Beyond the Scene, our podcast powered by the Florida sports scene. And as again, Coach Christiani doesn't need any introduction, but I will anyway. The head coach of Riverview football, Mark Christiani. Thank
Yeah,
you for coming.
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I got a lot of football questions, but some fun stuff
All
too.
right.
So let's dig into the 4-6 last year before you took over.
Yes, sir.
1 year, 9-2-1.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you tell me what in your opinion, was the biggest reason for that turnaround this year?
Senior ownership. I had a senior class that kind of bought into everything we were doing as a staff, bought into me as a head coach, my message, echoed it repeatedly, and they took a tremendous amount of ownership of the team. It's the only thing.
You had, okay, so you know, and I know there was a lot of seniors on this team, a lot of senior leaders,
Yeah.
and they are no longer on the team. How do you keep the momentum going at Riverview right now? Like do you have an idea for a quarterback for this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do?
So we were in our quarterbacks were in a quarterback battle all the way up to August. So between Parker Nippert, who eventually won the job, and then Logan Carrillo, who was his backup all year. But it was very, very tight up into August. So I feel very, very comfortable with our quarterback situation right now.
And the strength of your football team this year was undoubtedly your offensive line.
100%.
And you lost, I know, for Grayson Martin.
Yep.
Luke Chappell.
Yep.
Who did you lose? Any other? Is there any other seniors?
Luke O'Brien.
Luke O'Brien, yes.
Manuel Ramirez and Nate Pastor.
So you lost a lot off that offensive line.
I lost about 1,500 pounds.
So how if the strength is the offensive line,
Yeah.
what do you have? I know you're not going to tell us all the secrets, but do you have a good plan in place for replacing all that? I mean, you can't really replace. There was a lot of leadership on there.
Tremendous amount, but you saw what happened in 1 year with some development. So those were the same kids as juniors. They just kind of bought into what we were doing as seniors. So luckily, they set a great example for our underclassmen. I have one of the best offensive linemen in the area coming back in Kane Collazo. I got a all-world tight end in Miles Poziquis, who's going to be a heck of a player. I got a lot of young guys who saw what the older guys did, and they saw the effects of them believing in what we're trying to do as a program. So I think we're going to be all right.
I know you are, and it is. I didn't get the chance to see the 2024 season. I wasn't doing this yet, but it was such a change to see somebody as you're just. This area is very passionate about football, but you're equally, if not more, passionate. Then where does that come from? Just the love of young people, also the love of football.
Yeah, something I just was kind of always inside of me. In order for me to be successful as a player, I had to play with a lot of emotion and enthusiasm. Just how I always played. I don't know whether it's just in my blood. I've always been a passionate person, and I think my coaching reflects that. I'm a mirror, a poor mirror of some of the excellent coaches I've had in my life, and they were always highly passionate, highly motivated. And I really believe that emotion and enthusiasm is contagious. So you got to bring some juice. You have to temper that in the head position with a little bit of tactics and strategy. But I'm never going to not be emotional. I can't. I don't have that capability.
One thing I learned about you, and if you're with them, they're strong as Superman. I swear. I mean, when I'm in your presence, you just make it like this is all about you. It is crazy how you make people feel like that.
Well, I appreciate that. That's I think I want to say something I got from my father. So my father had the ability to make everybody feel like they were the most important person in the world when he was talking to them. It's something that I really try to emulate as I got older. And I think when you make it about other people, they believe in what you're doing a little bit more. And shit, I know all my stories. They're pretty boring. I like to hear about other people.
Right. Yeah. Right. So for some of you that may not know, Coach Christiani, where did you go to high school?
Oh man, Venice High School. Proud graduate 2003.
2003.
Yes, sir.
A proud graduate.
Yeah.
Now I found this out. In learning, on the fly like I am, the history in this area that people have. It's very tribalistic in this area. If I'm with 100%. You, we're in our, our group. But when I've noticed a lot, and there's a lot of it at Riverview and Sarasota, those two in particular. You are a Venice guy, grew up here your whole life. How is that like switching and playing Riverview? And I saw you were passionate at the Venice game. Tell us how do you do that? How do you like that's where I went to high school. I love where I went to high school, but you're a Riverview guy now.
Yeah, I'm going to take a tremendous amount of pride in being a Venice High graduate. And my era of Venice High was a really special time to be a player there. Great staff. A lot of those guys are still there. It's an experience that shaped me as a man. Something I'll always look back on fondly. My wife is actually a graduate of Venice High School too. She was a all world volleyball player there. So we have a lot of pride in our time at Venice High. And when I returned back and was on the staff there, I loved my time at Venice High. Um, there's a charter or a saying in the military. It's called the Abrams Charter, and it's in Ranger Battalion. And your goal eventually is to leave Ranger Battalion and spread the lessons that you learned to other units to make other people better. So, when I was contemplating leaving, and I had, when I was on the staff of Venice, I had several opportunities to leave, whether it be a college job or another high school job, and I was not going to leave for just anything. Um, so when I left, I think I made peace with it, understanding that, hey, I'm going to try to spread this work ethic, the things that I learned, the lessons learned, and try to help other schools and other young men. When I went to Riverview, they had always had a strong culture. There was a team that had been super successful when Venice wasn't successful. So it wasn't like they needed to learn everything. I just thought that I could bring something different, and I wanted to help as many kids as I could. And they had a great staff at Venice High when I was there. They have a great staff now. I thought I could do more work other places.
It is, you know, I really love the reason I love this area so much is the rivalries that's around here. But it's not like they hate each other, but it's definitely a healthy rivalry. Riverview wants to beat Venice, and Venice equally wants to beat Riverview. But then Riverview really wants to beat Sarasota. You've grown up with this your whole life.
Yeah.
Is that part of what makes this job so fun? I respect, you love all the coaches at Venice. I know you do.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but you want to beat them, and
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And being in the district with these teams definitely adds another layer to it, because not only does your season depend on it, your postseason seeding, your home field advantage, but you always want to win county games, and you want to play in games that are important and meaningful. It means a lot to go down to Venice, and we're gonna find a way to win. We're just gonna keep hammering at the rock till we figure it out. But they've gotten the best of Riverview for the last few years. I was on the staff on the team that beat them in 2017. But it's the rivalries in this area are really will make it enjoyable. I wish we could get back where everybody in the county respected everyone, and you wouldn't have to travel very far to find some really good, quality, meaningful games.
If you could, if Craig Damon was watching this,
Yes, sir.
What would be a suggestion? I'm going to give you a quick number.
Yep.
The total gate for the state finals in the state of Florida was 23,000 paying customers.
Okay.
The final gate in the state of Texas was 190,000.
Mm-hmm.
190,000 to 23. If you had a chance to speak to Craig Damon, if he was watching this right now, what would you offer him as a way to get those numbers up,
Yeah.
to make Florida. What suggestions you have to try to fix? It's a great product.
Yeah.
It just needs a couple tweaks.
Yeah.
Do you have any
a
ideas?
couple suggestions. I think one, they're gonna have to figure out this high school transfer portal. They're gonna have to make it a lot more difficult and a lot more factually based kids that are leaving. Like, they have to leave for a legitimate reason. The address has to be confirmed multiple times, because it's really, really diminishing people's spirit de corps and motivation to stay at a school when they can just kind of hopscotch all around. I think that's number one. I think the second thing that could help fix it is got to get these coaches paid more. When you say states like Texas, Georgia, Alabama, states that put a premium on high school football, they pay their high school coaches like there's a premium on high school football. So they're going to have the best talent. They're going to have the best facilities. And I think we have a very passionate fan base here who really prioritize academics, which is absolutely what we're in high school for. I think those people would equally get behind, helping coaches feel appreciated pay-wise, because then you're going to retain some really good coaches. And good coaches are going to have a good program. Good programs are going to win games. It's going to make things exciting, and I think it becomes kind of secular.
Bigger gates. Now, I had Andy Villamarzzo on here a couple of weeks ago, and him and I, he's really in tune with a lot of things, and talked to a lot of people all over the United States. And one thing that he's told me on our last show was that the surrounding states, Georgia, Alabama, they have a rule that's in place that if you transfer and then you want to transfer again, you can, but you have to sit out one calendar year. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great rule.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Listen, I understand hardships. My family was a bunch of gypsies. We moved all the way around up until I got to high school. I completely get tough financial situations in moving. I think anything like that will actually legitimize and make sure that these kids are leaving for the right reasons. I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, but I know the kids aren't in favor of it, but I have an opinion on this. I think that, as much as I love the games, that I get to go to these football games and watch the best football in the state of Florida, but I feel like the fans sometimes, like, I don't even know who's on the team anymore.
I mean, it is, yeah, that's absolutely, and you don't know who's going to be on the team next year. It is and I will tell you, we've been on the receiving end and the losing end of kids, and it is very tough when you invest years in a relationship with a kid, and then he leaves. I mean, you can't. I mean, sometimes they leave for really legitimate reasons. Sometimes they leave for reasons that you don't understand, and then sometimes they leave for reasons that they've probably been incentivized to go somewhere else. All of them are difficult, because if you're doing this from a spot that I hope a lot of these coaches are, where you're really trying to improve these young men's life, you're trying to pour into them. It's difficult when it's like a breakup. It's challenging. It's tough, man, and you want those kids to be so successful. But to say it's not emotional, I think you'd be lying. Or else, I don't know how you coach this game. You coach a game different from me. Right. I know every kid I've ever lost that has went to another school, even when I was an assistant, man, it stings. And you want to try to make it make sense, for sure.
Yeah, it is. I totally get it. Okay, so that's enough of the heavy stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff. So tell me, when you took the job at Riverview High School, I know me and you had a talk earlier this year, and you told me that this year exceeded what you thought that it could be. Yeah. But what is it about Riverview that makes that place? It is, the history, the players that have been there, the coaches that have been there. You're just in the line with some great people that have coached and played at Riverview High School. How is that being part of that?
It is super, super humbling to be the head coach at Riverview High School. I understand the tradition that came before me. It's something that we always want to embrace. I think that we've done a good job. You come to our locker room, we have the jerseys of prior Rams that have played in the NFL up. We have a big mural of guys right outside our weight room that went on to play in the NFL. There's probably too many guys if you're trying to do that for college guys, because the place has just turned out so much talent. I think it's really, really cool to walk, in the shadows of guys who have huge, gigantic shadows and huge expectations of winning. If you take the job at Riverview and you don't want to have expectations on you to win, probably not going to last. You probably need to find another job. I understand the weight that desk carries, and it's something I really embrace, and I think it brings out the best in us as a program.
The first time I ever walked into that Ram Bowl, it's like, man, this is outstanding.
Yeah, it's a cool atmosphere.
It's just a different thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful atmosphere.
I have another question I want to ask you, but it's not heavy. I want, so they added Lakewood Ranch and Northport to the district with Lehigh, Riverview, Sarasota, and Venice. In your opinion, did that strengthen the district or weaken the district?
Well, to our prior point, you don't know. Like, I don't know what Lakewood Ranch is going to be next year. Like, I have a lot of respect for their coach. I'd seen them, we played against them earlier in the year at a camp, and they did a tremendous job. It is very much, you don't know what kind of kids are going to transfer in there. So you might say, hey, look, Lakewood Ranch was not great last year, and maybe Lehigh struggled. They could have a completely different team in the spring, and then what's worse is even a completely different team in the fall. Maybe a different team by the time you play them. If you've seen film week 4, week 5, you play them week 7, it could be a different quarterback there. It's completely different anymore. So the ability of coaches and athletic programs to turn around rapidly is going to be something that's going to be emerged. I think you're going to continue to see programs who do historically well, but But I think the opportunity for programs to turn around on a dime is going to be there because of the liberal rules and transferring, and it's kind of the way our culture is right now.
I had somebody, and I'm not going to say who it is, but they gave me a mythical idea, and I wanted to run this past you. Spring game. Do you guys have a spring game already scheduled?
We do.
Oh, well, that ruined everything. Well, what I was going to say was, I thought you could get 6 teams and do like a jamboree type thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was any interest in that, because I had somebody reach out that was like, I think there's a lot of interest.
We've done that in the past, like a 3-team jamboree.
Yeah.
Everybody plays a half. Yeah, I'm all for anything like that. I think it's a great idea.
It is. One more thing I want to tell you about what the state finals was. Miami, Northwestern, and Reigns. That game, I have never seen a high school football game like that ever in my life. It was, the energy and electricity in there was it was just unbelievable. It was literally unbelievable. And of course, it came down to the last play, and the Reigns kid jumped across dived across the end zone and won the game with 2 seconds, 3 seconds left, whatever it was. Okay, so you saw all the media and all that, the attention that they get right down, at Miami, the way they get covered. And I wonder if you think, Channel 7, they've had to back off because of budget issues.
Sure.
So I'm wondering, in your opinion, is the lack of media coverage, or what would you say is the reason that Miami gets covered the way that they do? They have the same, you guys go down there and play them and beat them, they come up here and
I think historically that's an area where, when you look at like college programs, like the University of Miami, have such, is a legendary program who's pulled a lot of talent from there. I think that's probably an area of Florida that, if anything, maybe gets over recruited. Like, you have areas in Florida, like in the Panhandle, that have a ton of players, and college coaches don't even stop by there. They just go right to Dade and Broward County, which they should. There's great football down there. We've had a lot of success. I had a lot of success as a player and as a coach going down there and playing those teams, and it's always a lot of fun. I had a lot of teammates that are from that area, Miami Northwestern, Miami Killian. They're energetic guys.
Yes.
So I think, man, that culture, I think whatever you prioritize as a culture, that's an area that you go to a youth football game, there's 5,000 people there.
Yes.
You go to a track meet in the spring, there's 2,000 people there going crazy at a track meet. I think it's an area that really values athletics, and they see that that's a really positive thing in that community, in that area, and they're really good at it. Like, you're going to find some really fast kids down there. You're going to find some teams that are loaded with talent. You're going to find some coaches that are down there that coach their ass off. It's just a really cool place to go play. And I think the Gulf Coast in this little area is kind of like a little hidden gem. Like, teams come over here and
it's very hidden.
They don't really know what they're getting themselves into.
It's
a lot
incredible.
Of times. Yeah.
But and from the outside, I can see how you go to a game, Venice versus Riverview, and you're like, man, those guys are really good. And then they leave and nothing's ever said about it. But I got a chance to meet these guys and talk and see what they can do all year long at lots of schools. And there's some good football players here that coaches at programs up north don't even know about.
Yeah.
And when the last administration was at Michigan State, I tried to have them reach out over and over,
Yeah.
And it's, like you said, there's hidden gems here. I know that there's some good players that are in this area that could play at a Big Ten university right now.
100%.
That aren't getting any attention.
100% yet. I don't know whether that's the nature of college football right now with the portal. And in going through my first season as a head coach trying to get kids recruited, it's just a different time from when I was a player. It's a different time from 3 or 4 years ago. I think everybody's trying to figure it out. I think the lack of patience in the college level is what caused a lot of this. So you have a fan base that's going to give a coach 18 months. It used to be 3 years. You're going to have 3 years to go in, set your culture, build your program. It's not 3 years anymore.
What is it now?
I would say a year to 18 months. They want to see you flip a program quick. And then there's guys that do it so well, so quickly. The expectation is super high. So
I don't think Signetti held anything. That was big.
Oh, right, my goodness.
2 years, you're a national champion, undefeated with a Heisman
my point. So now, instead of that being the exception, that's going to be the rule now, where they want everybody to do that. It's just not the case. That's a special university and with a special coach and just an unbelievable, historic, magical season that they worked for and earned. It's tough when a college coach knows that the stopwatch is clicking from the time he gets a job. Is he going to take a 22-year-old kid with 3 years of college tape or a 18-year-old kid who played really good last year against Venice? It's tough.
Yes.
It's tough. So I mean, I understand their job. When I see college coaches, none of them are real happy. They're all pretty disgruntled, and they're hoping for a change. I'm hoping for a change. I think unintended consequence was the high school kid that's getting under recruited.
Yeah.
All 5 of those offensive linemen we're talking about, trying to find homes for them. It's tough sledding as a high school kid trying to get recruited right now for sure.
I had a guy up in Manatee tell me that there's no reason for a college to come out and take a quarterback a chance on you because you just beat Venice or Riverview this year. When I have the tape of him doing this against Ole Miss, so that's where we're at now with this right now. So have you seen in your time coaching the pullback from big time universities recruiting high school players and in particular quarterbacks?
Yeah. So what 100% what I see is we will see like the blue bloods, like University of Florida was in today. We'll see Michigan. We'll see Ohio State. We'll see those big schools, and then we'll see like Division twos, Division threes. That's it. We don't see any MAC schools anymore. We don't see any, what used to be called FCS. We don't see the Eastern Kentuckys, the Georgia Southerns. We don't see those schools anymore. Most of those people just live in the portal, and it's a difficult time as a high school kid. You're either like an ESPN top 300 recruit who is going to see coaches all day long, or you're a kid who's going to play at a mid-major level that's struggling right now to find a home, and just has to keep grinding, knowing that maybe he gets his foot in the door at a like a Valdosta State, plays really good football, and then maybe has a chance to climb. It's a difficult terrain to kind of navigate.
So I am trying to make sure that because you know this on a whole different level than me. Are you saying that is there no funding for Toledo, Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Eastern to come down here and recruit?
I don't know. I don't think it's a budget concern. I think those coaches say, hey, I would rather take a guy that maybe was not successful at Oregon and put him on the field because he's kind of already ready to go. He was already an elite level player. See if he'll have success at our school versus a high school kid. I know that I can just speak for myself. I was an FCS kid as a player coming out of high school. I don't believe I would be an FCS kid if I came out today. I don't believe Georgia Southern, App State, Eastern Kentucky, any of those schools would look at me today.
Really?
I think I would have to go play some D2, D3 ball, get some tape, and then try, again, when I was a little bit older. That's just kind of how I think it is now.
It's very discouraging. So tell me, what is the motivation? How do you keep Parker Nippert and Isaiah Bell? How do you keep them motivated during the season? Like, man, if there's nothing, I've got to go play Division III football.
Well, because one, there's some really good football played at Division III. I just went to the Division III national title.
You did?
Had a defensive end who was the starter for North Central. Unbelievable football, great atmosphere. They played at the Stag Bowl at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Great atmosphere. It's great ball. I think you say, hey, this is more than just about recruiting. These lessons that we're going to learn right now as a football program, as a football player, are going to help you the rest of your life. Here's how they've helped me. Mental toughness, perseverance, relying on others, respect, coming together for a common goal. Even if you're not my best friend, I respect the work you put in. We work together. Those are all lessons that are going to carry you a lot further because eventually you're going to have to hang up your cleats. Whether it's in 4 years or 30 years, you're going to be done playing football. Those lessons, it has to be bigger, and I know it's very cliche. It has to be bigger than just football. High school football has to be more than just about the game of football and getting you to college. Some programs, maybe it's all about that. At Riverview High School, we're trying to help you be a better man and a young man and a better father, employer, employee, just a better human at the end of your time than the beginning of your time. So I think when you're talking to kids about that, the big things like, hey man, life is going to punch you in the mouth. We just got beat. We just lost by 20 points to Venice. That's disappointing. I'm frustrated too. We worked really hard. You're going to have a mortgage to pay. You're going to be sick. Your wife and your kids are going to need you to go to work. You have to deal with adversity. So when you make lessons and you frame them in a bigger context, I think it helps. I think one thing that is different about me that helps me is my time in the military gave me a perspective that's a little bit different. Whether I would have just came out of college and started coaching football right away, I got to learn some lessons on perspective that I think have really helped me be a little bit different than most head coaches. and not better, not worse, just different. So I try to keep those in mind when I'm talking to young men, because I understand that there's a whole lot of other things going on that are significantly bigger than football.
They are indeed. They are. So, okay. So I love listening to you. I could do that all day, but I want to get out a couple more things. Did you get a chance to watch that game last night? The national championship?
I did.
What did you think? Tell me your breakdown. I could listen to you talk football all day.
So my father is one of like 6 jerseys in the Orange Bowl. My
Really?
father was a 2-time All-American, first ballot Hall of Famer. Tony Christiani. He's the best defensive lineman statistically to ever play at the University of Miami.
Really?
Yeah. 32 sacks as a junior and a sophomore. Unbelievable. First ballot Hall of Fame at nose guard.
What year was he there?
1973 he graduated.
Really?
Okay. So I grew up a big Miami fan.
Yes.
Love their coaching staff. Had a chance to meet their defensive coordinator in the spring. Just blown away by his schemes. Intelligent guy. He's a heck of a motivator. I just thought, I mean, it's really, if you look at the analytics, you get a block punt for a touchdown, you're not going to win. It's just not going to win.
Not in that game.
It's so tough. It's so tough. So I don't think special teams helped them very much.
At all.
Man.
Missed field goal.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Punt.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
And I thought that, sometimes it's just your year. And it just, everything from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, you just kind of saw that Indiana team just keep finding a way to win. And it was impressive. It was very impressive.
I'm encouraged this. You know, I'm a Michigan State guy. I'll always be a Michigan State guy. But since I moved down here, I've always liked the anti-establishment that Miami has. They just like, you know what, they've got their own thing and we're going to do it. And I always vibe with that more than any other school around here. But when all the things you just said about the game and all that, but they still have the ball with a minute and 40 seconds. And you got a guy that's been in college, it feels like, since, the mid-'90s, you know, and they still had a chance to win that game.
Yeah. So I coached against Beck when he was at Mandarin.
Really?
And I wish he would have threw some of the passes he threw last night when we played him, because he didn't have an incomplete when we played him when he was at Mandarin. He was unreal. I mean, he's a heck of a player. I don't know what you want to say about that interception. Maybe it's on him. Maybe it's on the receiver. Tough break for that kid. You kind of, you feel for him. I know that it's about money, but you could tell how much he was hurting after the game. And, it was a heck of a football game. Great season.
I saw the interview with Cristobal afterward, and you could just feel like that's what I want to feel from my coach right there. This is pain, like you just said. We put a lot of work in against Venice. We lost. I want you to feel that. I want you to remember that.
I think when you try to heal too quick, and you got to let that sink in. It's supposed to hurt. It ain't supposed to feel good.
Yeah. Yes. So NFL, I want to talk to you quick about the playoffs. Well, that is probably going to have to wait until the next time, because we are unfortunately out of time. So, Coach Mark Christiani, Riverview High School, thank you very much. It is always a pleasure when I get a chance to talk to you.
I appreciate the opportunity, and you're doing great things for this area, so please keep it up.
You know what? I just want to say this before this shuts off. I want to say this, man. Everybody has had a hand in helping me, but you have been so gracious with your time and everything you did. I appreciate everything you do for me. I
know you're in it for the right reasons, and we appreciate you, and the coverage you're bringing to this area is really helping these kids. So please keep it up, please.
Coach Mark Christiani, Riverview Football. Thank you, Coach.
Go Rams.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.